Okay, guys. So today on Bells and Balance, we have Ashley Moate, who is joining us for a really great interview about what it's like to be a stay-at-home mom, to be a military wife, and she also has a little business of her own. So, Ashley, welcome.
Hi.
So, if you could just tell me a little bit about what your day-to-day experience is like what's a typical day for you?
Well, a typical day honestly starts with waking up with my husband just because his alarm goes off when he's home. His alarm will go off and that'll wake me up. So then I just kind of relax a little bit until my daughter wakes up. And once she wakes up, that's when my day really starts. I take the dog out, then I feed her, then I change her, and it's kind of just like a huge routine for me. And it's always in the same order for me.
Oh,
And
that's great.
it doesn't
Organized.
like I'm an organized mess, but with her, it's just so easy because she lets me know when she's tired. She lets me know when she's hungry. So it got easier over time to have a routine, I would say. So it starts at 7 and never ends.
Yeah, that's great. Now, does she take naps and stuff too?
She takes about 2 naps a day, one in
Oh,
the
that's great.
morning and one in the afternoon, and then she'll be in bed by 6:30. So
Wow. Oh my gosh, I'm so jealous. My daughter has never been a good sleeper. She never took naps. I don't think she ever fell asleep before 10 o'clock at night. She's
Oh,
just,
wow.
and now she's 8 and she's the worst. So whenever people tell me oh, my daughter sleeps twice a day and she goes to bed at 6:37, I'm like, how do you do that? That's fantastic. So you really have
She's
that
so
routine
easy.
down.
Yeah, she's so easy. We've been in a steady routine since day one, pretty much. I mean, she hasn't been the best of sleepers, but she's been better than I was when I was a baby, and my mom
Yeah.
continues to tell me that. So
And she's a baby, so I mean that's really pretty good that you've got a
yeah.
routine and that she sticks to it pretty
My
well.
my mom
Now,
told me to, get her into a routine as soon as possible. So I was lucky she kind of just did it herself. And then I started catching on and just followed her lead more so than me putting something on her.
that's fantastic. Sounds like you have a really good thing going with that. That's great. So now you had mentioned that your husband is typically gone about 7 months out of the year.
Yes, his command is a deployable unit, so typically about 7 months every year. He'll deploy, and communication is thankfully great
Good.
because of modern technology. Skype, FaceTime, Facebook Messenger now has their videos. So that really does help. The first deployment, I was actually pregnant with Demi, and this one, she will be just over a year old when he deploys again, and will be almost 2 by the time he gets back.
Oh, wow. That's so hard. Now, does he usually go overseas or is it just different places every time?
It's overseas. And since it's the second deployment, I'm not too sure where he'd be going next,
Yeah.
but I kind of have a feeling it's going to be the same place as it was the last time. So that's really helpful and really good. And the time difference obviously sucks, but it does kind of help because where he is versus where I am, it's kind of the same time, just flip flopped. So it's nice to have the communication aspect there.
And how often are you able to talk to him when he's away?
Last year we talked about once a day for 30 minutes to about hour or two.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so it was really nice, but then obviously sleep and tiredness catch up to him, so he needs to
He
rest.
needs
So
to get his rest. For sure. And what branch of the military is he in?
he's in the Navy.
He's in the Navy. Okay.
Yes,
All right. And
yes.
do you have family that lives nearby that helps you out when he's gone, or how does that work?
My parents actually, they live about an hour and a half north of me,
Mhm.
and they've been a super huge help ever since she was born. I actually stayed with them a majority of the last deployment with them while I was pregnant, and brought Demi home to their house, not my home, but their house. So that was really nice because I did have more hands-on, and they tend to take her for a few days out of a month or two, and it's nice because then, you know, my husband and I, we get that break and we get to just kind of, you know, mellow out and relax. And being a mom, I'm sure you know, you still kind of have everything in the back of your head, like, is she okay? Is she gonna sleep? Are they gonna eat? Like, I hope they're feeding her well. I hope they're not giving her too much sugar. All that stuff is in the back of my head.
Love to spoil those kids, don't they?
They seriously do, but
I know exactly how.
But they're the ones who have to deal with her.
And that way you get that time too. I mean, you need that. I always try to explain that to my daughter because she gets super jealous if my husband and I like go out to dinner without her. And it's like, you need that time. That's what makes a marriage last. You have to have the time without the kids so that you can kind of reconnect as adults and not just as like mommy and daddy all the time.
Oh, definitely agreed. And I was super jealous of my parents growing up when they would like go out all the time, and it was like, you know, I was only a teenager when they were doing that, and I have a baby sister who's 9 years old, almost 10.
Oh wow!
So I was the babysitter, but you know, I was always getting like, oh, why are they going out again? But now I kind of realize it's like they need a break too. We're parents, you know, we can't be mom and dad 24/7, 365. It's just not possible.
It's funny how when you grow up, you kind of get a better appreciation for like what your parents went through.
Seriously.
Sure. So tell me, you had mentioned that you have a crafting business. Tell me a little bit about that. Like, what kind of crafts do you do? How do you work that business?
I own a Cricut machine. A Cricut is a vinyl cardstock, pretty much any kind of any paper or sticker type papers that you can find.
Yeah.
The Cricut would cut it. So I make shirts, decals. I do water bottles. Actually, I have my water bottle here.
Nice.
It's covered. I do monograms.
Oh, awesome.
The shirts are my most favorite thing to make, and I actually just made shirts. They're in the laundry because we obviously wore them. But I made Mickey Minnie shirts with the American flag in it. So that was it's really fun to just kind of express yourself in a different way. So I really do enjoy doing that. It's a lot of fun.
Great. And do you have an Etsy shop, or how do you sell that stuff?
I do mostly Facebook because Etsy charges kind of ridiculous fees per listing. So it's like, I don't really want to deal with that. So I kind of do kind of like an under the table type deal, I guess. I mean, I send out invoices before I start my work. And once I get the invoice paid, I usually start the work. I haven't gotten like an overwhelming amount of orders, but so I'm pretty quick in my work. I probably 2 days max, and I can finish a shirt. Yeah, wow. It's so great. It's so much fun. I'm actually working on shirts currently for Demi's birthday party on Saturday. Yay. And it's Sheriff Callie themed. I saw your daughter dressed up as Callie.
Oh my gosh, she's
like,
that's Sheriff Callie. Oh my god! And here's a little funny story about that. My daughter has always had like a weird speech thing. Like she kind of has like an accent. I don't know where it came from. I don't know what it's all about. But when she was little, my dad was watching her, and I got a text from him, and he was like, "Do you know what the show Sale of Cowie is?" And I immediately knew she was saying Sheriff Callie, but he didn't know what it was. But she was like,
so cute
with that show. She loved it.
Demi too, and I was lucky it was on Hulu, and I stumbled upon it when she was like 2-3 months old, and I was like, I need to get some like dishes done or something. I better just sit her in her chair and turn on the TV. So I turned that on, and that's been her favorite show ever since. She loves the theme song. Her bedroom is completely decorated. It took me so long, but I did find toddler size Sheriff Callie bedding, so she's got
Oh, yeah, you
that.
don't see a lot of merchandise for Sheriff Callie at all.
The show was actually canceled back
Oh, it
in
was?
2016, 2017.
It
Yeah.
wasn't on for very long then.
No, and it was because
Bummer.
Mandy Moore voiced Sheriff Callie, and then she picked up This Is Us
Yeah, oh, I
and
didn't even know
Rapunzel.
that.
Yeah, so it was devastating for me because I was like, wait, there's no season 3? What?
Now I just have to watch the first 2 seasons over and over. Well, that's what they do. I mean, when my daughter was really little, she loved Little Einsteins, and Little Einsteins had been off the air forever, and they were just playing the reruns over and over. So it was the same thing. We had a really hard time finding the merchandise for that because she wanted like the rocket ship and all the little figurines. So we ended up buying a used one off of eBay because it was the only way we could get it. So we gave her like used toys for Christmas one year.
No shame. I mean, I bought Demi a bunch of the Sheriff Callie plushes and the little figurines on Poshmark. And she sleeps with all the like mini figurines we've got Callie, Sparky, Deputy Peck, and Toby. It's just chilling in her bed, and she loves to talk to them in the morning before, I go get her. So that's nice.
Oh, that's adorable. So cute. Well, that's awesome. I love that show. I liked the message and stuff. I felt like, so there are some shows that are super annoying. That one didn't so much, so I didn't mind her watching that one so much. It wasn't so bad.
She really likes Puppy Dog Pals and Sesame Street. So those are really the only shows that we watch. I don't want to have to deal with Caillou and the other annoying shows that some people are like, why is this even running?
Yeah, I know some of them are like, and now my daughter's getting into like the teenager shows, like, and she loves Descendants and stuff, and some of those are kind of like, but I mean, she's 8 going on 18. She thinks she knows everything. Thinks she's a teenager, so it's just.
My sister loves the Descendants too. I thought the first one was really cute, but the second one just kind of annoyed me. So
I mean, they are what they are. I mean, they definitely know how to appeal to that age group. It's crazy.
Definitely.
So the only other thing I really wanted to talk to you about is how, like, you have a lot going on. I mean, I can't even imagine raising a daughter. I mean, you're basically a single mom more than half of the year, right? So
that's what it feels like.
You are, and you're on your own basically. And I mean, that's got to be really tough. So how do you take care of yourself? Like, what do you do to take care of yourself?
Well, crafting is definitely kind of like a stress relief because there's a term that we use like when I'm making signs. It's called weeding. So basically when you put a piece of vinyl on your mat and you go to cut it, it still has pieces that need to be taken out and you have to manually do that. The machine won't do that for you. So I find that a huge stress relief. I like wine. What mom doesn't like wine? Taking baths is really nice. So like at the end of the day when she's in bed and I know that she's asleep, especially last year, he came home for about 10 days after she was born, and then he had to go back for like a month and a half, and so I was like cooking dinner for myself at 8 o'clock at night. Doing what I needed to do, like showering. Like I couldn't shower for the life of me in the first like 3 months of her life. It was super difficult. But crafting, baths, wine, TV just winds me down for the rest of the night, and that's kind of my me time. I think I've only ever asked my mom once if she could come get Demi because I just needed a mental break, and that had to be at like 4 or 5 months old. So it was nice to have kind of just a me downtime. But I know that it's not going to be like that forever because military families, we move a lot, and we're set to move in 2 years, I think. So yeah, we've been here for almost 2 years. So we have like another 1.5 years, 2 years to go. So that means another deployment after this one. So I just kind of adapt to being alone in a sense.
Yeah.
So it's hard, but it's, you know, it comes with who I married. It
You
comes
knew
with
what you
his
were,
job.
yeah.
I knew what I was getting into, but it doesn't make it any easier.
Absolutely
Of course.
not.
You know, I cried like for hours the day he left, and I stayed up all night the night before until he left, and then I couldn't even get to sleep. So, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be any different this year, if it's, you know, if I'm going to cry, if I'm just going to be like, well, I can't really do any of that now. You know, I got a little one to take care of. So, it's just, it's not easy, but it comes with, you know, what I
Right. I mean, that's who you fell in love with. What were you going to do? Not be with them? And
right.
it is. Yeah, it is what it is. What advice do you have for other military moms and wives?
Find something that you love, make friends, or try to make friends. I know it's so hard being, you know, an adult, especially if you have kids. It's so hard having kids and trying to make friends. But at least try and put yourself out there. Don't be shy. I'm pretty shy. I don't like being around most of the Navy guys, but, you know, I'll do it sometimes. But I do like being around some of the command wives, so that's also very, very helpful. So just find something that you love and just, you know, make friends, visit family, do you, and just try to occupy your time. It goes by quick. As slow as it seems in the beginning, it goes by pretty fast.
Yeah, that's great. It sounds like you found a really great hobby that you enjoy.
Oh,
I can just see
it's great.
Your face lights up when you talk about it. So that's fantastic.
My husband and I say that it has already paid for itself. So
well, that's always a good thing, right?
we're pretty excited. And he goes, "You can make me any shirt that I want." I was like, "Yeah, kind of."
That's awesome. Is there anything else that you want to share or talk about before we end the interview?
You know, no, I just try your hardest to, you know, get out there and do some fun things, and it'll be over before you know it if you're a deployable spouse. So
no, that's awesome. I think, you know, your message is really inspiring. You seem to be very like upbeat about it, and you know, you seem pretty cheerful about it, which is awesome. I'm sure some of that is like mindset and having to work on that. I'm sure it hasn't always been that way, but you know, that's what I always tell people. I mean, I'm a firm believer in like you control your circumstances, and you can either take a situation and be miserable about it, or you can take it and make the best of it, and that's what it sounds like you've been doing. So that's great.
It's what I have to do with a baby, because she feeds off of my energy. So
sure, absolutely, that's so true. So I mean, you don't want her to be sad all the time and worry about you, and you know, growing up in a sad household.
Exactly. And sorry, I just got a phone call.
No, that's okay.
But yeah, I've had anxiety with driving, but I got my permit, and now I'm learning how to drive, and I'm doing it more for Demi than I am for me. So it's like I can finally get out there and take her places. So it'll be nice to actually get out and not be able to sit around and like kind of sulk about it. So
yeah, you're not like trapped or stranded.
Yeah, I don't want to ever feel that way again. So.
Oh, I'm sure. No, that's so great. Well, thank you so much. I'm gonna end the recording, and then we can chat for a quick minute, but I'm gonna stop it now.
Awesome.